Welcome back, my friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer, so now let's talk silver. Did you miss the boat on silver? Is it too late? Did you miss that golden opportunity? I'm sure a lot of people ask themselves that when they hear about silver or any investment, with Bitcoin to Tesla, Amazon stocks. You ask yourself, did I hear about this a little too late? And the best way to determine or answer that question is looking at that specific investment from a macro perspective, not micro. Like the housing market. If you're looking at renovating a property or buying a house to flip, you don't look at the house's value necessarily right now. Yeah, you try to get a good price, but you look at the surrounding neighborhoods, the city. Are they building schools in malls and shopping centers or tearing them down? Then you can determine in 5 to 10 years what your house's value could be worth. Yes, you have to play in, several other factors of the economy, but that's how you determine things. With silver, it is by far the most undervalued investment, by far, tenfold of gold. For how useful silver is to what its price is makes no sense. Gold, you could argue a case for gold because it's mainly used for a store of value and not used too much in the electronic world and industrial sector. But silver, for how useful it is and what the price is, it's beyond undervalued. So to answer your question, no, you didn't miss the boat, but you don't have much time left. Now, this article is interesting because it goes over what affects the price of silver, but it also goes over a short-term price forecast, a medium-term, and a long-term price forecast. So I want to break down those three sections and give my honest opinion on this. And I say honest opinion because some people will exaggerate or inflate the price or even just overhype it a little bit. We call them silver pumpers, people that will say, silver's gonna explode tomorrow, hurry up and buy it. And then that person that's new that hears that is rushing, anxiously, impulsively buying, spending 50% of 75% of their paycheck because I'm gonna miss the boat. It's gonna explode tomorrow. This is my last chance. I gotta hurry up. That's how I felt when I first started in 2016. It was very, very toxic and dangerous that I was watching that type of content because I didn't have money, especially back then. I'm only 30 years old now. So, I'm in my early 20s, not working a well-paying job, spending all of my money thinking that, one, I'm going to get rich very soon and that I don't need to pay off my credit card debt right now. I might as well just overdraft and spend even more on silver because in a couple months I'm going to get rich and I could pay off it anyways. That type of thinking is very, very bad. So I'm going to be realistic with you guys in this video. I'm not going to inflate or exaggerate or over-exaggerate or overhype silver's potential, but I will tell you it does have a lot of potential. So anyways, I did want to mention beyond that I'm also doing a massive silver giveaway right now. The entry video is live. I'm giving away an entire tube of sealed eagles, an entire tube of 2022, maybe 2023 sealed eagles, still in the casing, never been touched by human hands, straight from the US Mint. So if you want a chance to win some of that shiny stuff, then go enter this giveaway. The link's in the description or the pinned comment. The rules over there, how to enter, are very, very simple. All you gotta do is click subscribe and go put a hashtag in. And like always, may the luckiest stackers win. And I say stackers because I'm going to be giving several ounces of silver. Not just a tube of eagles. Over the next 4 or 5 months, I'll be doing several different giveaways. And that's just because we're on the road to 100,000 subscribers, and it's a way to show my token of appreciation, pun intended. So let's jump into this. Silver price forecast, short and long-term silver price prediction. And by the way, I would love for you to get involved in this conversation. I'm going to throw my opinions out there, but I want you to throw your opinions out there as well. For example, when do you think silver is going to hit triple digits? Let's ask that question in the comment section. Is it going to be in 5 years? Is it going to be in 10 years? Do you think it will never hit triple digits? Do you think it's going to be by next year? Let me know in the comment section below. Silver has been a coveted commodity and currency for millennia, going back at least as far as ancient Greeks. I mean, it's beyond that. We're talking about thousands of years. Over 5,000, I'd say 6,000 years back in biblical times. The ratio was 2.5 parts silver equals 1 part gold. We're talking about thousands and thousands from the beginning of man. So anyways, its shine, rarity, and general allure made it popular to make currency and jewelry. More recently, silver has found an even more important role in industry, and now half of its supply goes directly to manufacturers. As an investor, it is important to understand the factors that affect the prices of the assets you are trading. These factors can be combined to build an educated price forecast that won't be perfect, but it will be helpful. This article dives deep into short, medium, and long-term silver price forecasts from experts and analysts and the factors they use to create them. I like that. I'm not going to go over the price history. I mean, just to give a little bit of context, silver was just as valuable as gold back in biblical times, and that's because silver has more uses. Silver is the most highly conductive metal for thermal conductivity and electricity, even light sensitivity. Nothing performs as close, or even as copper is a close second, but in terms of quality and grade, not even a close second, really. Silver is irreplaceable. Now, they go over FDR putting the Executive Order 6102, saying that everyone had to turn in their gold, or you'd pay a $10,000 fine, 10 years in jail, or both. He confiscated gold. And then we see 1980 with the Hunt brothers, silver hit $50. And then in 2011, silver hit $50 again. So anyways, let's go over what affects the price of silver, since we just went over the history. The price of silver is largely determined by supply and demand. Now, not so much anymore. If it was, then silver would be extremely high right now. A lot higher than it is now, let's put it like that. Because there's a massive silver shortage. There's not a massive gold shortage. It's based off of manipulation, price manipulation, spoofing. We're talking about legitimate evidence. J.P. Morgan getting fined almost $1 billion, $900 million. 3 of their employees getting sent to prison. Another one for RICO charges, racketeering. It's not supply and demand. So this article right off the bat is twisting words. Not even twisting words, just not giving the full context. Manufacturers, the factors that affect silver's supply and demand are different from other investments, including gold. For example, silver is usually mined as a byproduct of mining other metals, which makes it difficult for mining companies to meet increased demand. That's not even just the case. Yes, silver is a byproduct. Yes, it's found by accident when they're looking for gold, lead, and zinc. But there's many other variables you have to incorporate, like silver is thrown away within a couple decades, where gold is recycled. Since gold is used for jewelry and coins and necklaces, it gets remelted into more jewelry, coins, and necklaces, where silver is thrown away since it's used mainly in the industrial sector for solar panels and EVs and stuff. That stuff gets thrown away, never to be recycled. So if it comes out of the ground 7-to-1, that 7 ounces of gold is going to stay in circulation for centuries, but that 1 ounce of silver is going to get thrown away within a couple decades. So you got to factor that in as well. And silver is very shallow in the Earth's crust, so there's only so much. So I wouldn't say that gold is so much more rare than silver. So anyways, they talk about other factors like rising interest rates, increased inflation, stagflation can affect the price of silver. And they do make a good point that they talk about demand. Now, silver demand is very close to its price. If you ever look at a graph of silver's demand compared to its price, it's very, very close, and that should be enough for you to understand it's undervalued and that it will be going higher, because we know demand is only going to be dramatically increasing dramatically increasing over the next 5 to 10 years as we go into this new green age. Record solar demand should support silver prices to start the week below $21. I mean, solar panel demand increased 15% this year. Every automobile company by the year 2030 is going to be an EV. So we're going to need a lot more silver. And if we're saying that silver's price has a correlation to its demand, and we know demand is going to rise, then what does that mean for the price? It's going to rise. So anyways, they talk about how it's difficult to put together a useful silver price forecast, especially for the short term. Too many factors influence the price. And yes, I mean, even the 2024 elections coming up, that's going to be a huge, huge variable. And we don't know whether candidate A, B, or C wins, and that will determine a lot on the price. So expert analysts often look at indicators like current market conditions, geopolitical issues, technical analysis, macroeconomic models, and the demand for silver to try to make a prediction. So an AI-assisted technical analysis platform that creates informed price predictions. They're probably talking about the VCPMI. Regardless, though, they're saying that silver will be trading at $24.95 by the end of 2023. These price forecasts can be useful as estimates or guesses, but they should be taken with a grain of salt. Yeah, it's like the weatherman. I mean, silver was already close to that. I mean, it was already close to that this year, but was it even above that? I mean, we're only in the third month of the year, but regardless, that is very, very modest. I think it could go higher, especially since we're so early in the year. We still have several months left, and a lot can happen. And I do think we could see $30 silver again easily by the end of the year, but who knows? So now let's look at the medium-term price forecast. Experts at Trading Economics forecast that the price of silver will be about $20.21 per ounce by February 2024. Wow, that makes no sense, especially with the presidential election and knowing how that stirs up economic uncertainty, that stirs up people being, the fear, uncertainty, doubt with where the economy's headed. That plays a large factor in this, and that usually is very bullish for silver because silver is a safe haven. When people don't trust government, don't trust the current times, they put their money into precious metals. So to say it's $20 by February 2024 is just insane to think about. It's insane to think about. So anyways, the long-term price forecast. Let's look at this. Most investors agree that the future of silver is bright in the long term. Some experts like Avi Gilbert, the expert trading and founder of Elliott Wave Trader, believe it will double in 2023, reaching $50 within the next few years. Wells Fargo expects silver to play a major role in the future and hinted that it may perform better than gold. It seems likely that silver may perform well in the long run because of its vital place in manufacturing. Many of the applications of silver in manufacturing are the innovative technologies that are driving the future, like battery, solar power, and electronics. It's hard to imagine these applications won't continue to grow quickly, increasing the industry's demand for silver. And yes, like they said up here, if the industry's demand for silver is going to be rising, and they just said that silver's price rises with demand, then 1 + 1 = 2, folks. It's insane that concept is so hard to grasp. It's like 1 + 1 = 2. Demand exceeded 1.21 billion ounces this year, and it's supposed to be even more next year. And India is opening new investment options now, which is going to mean India already buying hundreds of millions of ounces this year out of the blue with the BRICS nations. And then we have China reopening this year, which is the biggest consumer of silver, which means the demand is going to be even more. I mean, to think, and then solar panel demand rising 15% this year. I mean, to think that silver is going to stay at around 1 billion, 1.21 billion ounces for the next decade is insane. And if you understand how closely correlated silver's demand is to the price, then that alone should show you, especially when you incorporate this supply deficit, that as we increase this growing demand, we cannot keep up with the demand from the supply. So that should show you even more so. Low supply, high demand pushes the price up. That's investing 101. That's investing 101. That's what everyone needs to understand when they get into anything, especially that's physical, that's tangible, that has intrinsic value. You buy something that's scarce, not that is, not that has a flourishing demand that's flooded all over. You don't that means it's oversaturated. It's not rare. There's nothing special about it. Like gold, for example. There is no shortage of gold, and that's why there's no premiums for gold. That's why you can get an ounce of gold for basically the spot price of gold on these sites. But silver, you're going to see massive premiums. 50 up to 70% premiums. We saw it even higher than that last year with Eagles. That's because there's a shortage of silver, not gold. Silver's harder to find. And I don't mean like out of the Earth's crust from miners. I mean harder to find from dealers. I mean we're talking about Perth Mint, Royal Mint, who else? The U.S. Mint, other mint. I mean, all of these mints are coming out and saying they're having an extremely hard time finding silver. I mean, yes, there's other variables as well, like with the U.S. Mint having certain laws, but all these mints are admitting there's a silver shortage. They've all came out and publicly said it. They're having a hard time. So anyways, I am curious what you think about this. I'm going to throw in my 2 cents now. Hopefully you've stuck around this far into the video, because if you haven't, then you missed the whole point, basically. That was an introduction of showing other experts' opinions. Now, if you want to hear my opinion, let's jump into it. And by the way, if you stuck this far into the video, pat yourself on the back, because most people probably clicked off this video within the first 2 minutes thinking that they know it all, closed-minded, thinking, oh, he's not going to say anything important. You're sticking around, soaking up every piece of information, and I guarantee that's going to benefit you longer in the long run, as you're someone who's open-minded that wants to get all the information. I can guarantee you're going to be more successful. So pat yourself on the back if you stuck around so far. So the short term, even like this article says, is irrelevant. You shouldn't be worried about the short-term price anyways, because you're not going to be selling for anytime soon. I mean, why would you care? The only reason silver's short-term price would matter is buying. And to be honest, that means the lower the price goes, the happier we get, not the more worried. You can tell when someone's a true stacker or not by looking at how they react when silver's price drops. Some people get worried, start second guessing, start saying that I make the wrong decision, maybe even start thinking about trading it back into Bitcoin or whatever they started with. Stackers, true stackers, we celebrate. We're like, whoa, we can get this on a discount right now? Yeah, silver was $11 in March of 2020, 2 years ago to be exact. Or actually 3 years ago to be exact. And we were celebrating. We knew. Wow, that was 3 years ago. Wow, where did the time go? Holy crap. That went so fast, by the way. Wow. But we knew that $11 silver was the cheapest we'll ever get it again. We knew that for a fact, and we bought a lot of it. So, for someone who understands silver's value, when the price goes down, we get happy. Now let's go into the medium term. A lot of factors play into this, especially the election coming up, because whatever that person does with the election over the next couple of years will influence the economy, and silver is highly influenced and affected by the economy. So the medium term doesn't even really matter that much either. When I say medium term, I'm talking about the next 5, 6 years. Now, a lot can happen then, though. If you've ever watched my channel, you know that I talk about triple digit silver by the year 2025, 2026. I think we'll be deep enough into the Green New Deal. I think we'll be deep enough into beyond just the Green New Deal, the silver shortage being exposed by the COMEX. And that's stuff that no matter who wins the election, that's inevitably going to happen, especially with the collapsing dollar as well. Dollar losing 98% of its purchasing power, $31 trillion in debt as of today. But imagine what it's going to be like next year as we're handing over hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine and about to throw ourselves in a war. This is all stuff that was inevitable. I mean, not some of Biden's decisions, but I mean like the dollar collapsing, our fiat-based system, and how that would affect silver. And now it's looking more so with the supply deficit as well. So I say triple-digit silver by the year 2025, 2026, but that's still not the long term. When I say long term, I'm talking about 15, 20, 25 years. I'm 30 years old, so I don't plan on selling for another 25 years. What silver's price could be then is literally anything. The sky is the limit. Like Ted Butler said, think of the highest price you can for silver and then multiply that times 10. Because who knows by then what the world would look like. And since we know silver is irreplaceable, I mean, it only makes sense. Especially by then, we will have ran out of silver. We're about to there's charts showing that we will literally run out of silver within by like the year 2030. And gold, it's like 2035. Like all these metals, all these elements will be gone by then. We're gonna have to find a new way to mine them. Whether it's mining innovation out of the Earth's crust, except there's only so much silver in the Earth's crust, or kicking on our front door and taking our silver like FDR did with gold in 1930, right? Saying that your gold that's in your safe is not yours anymore. You got to give it back to us. And if you don't, you pay a $10,000 fine, 10 years in prison, or both. Right? You better give it to us because we need it. And it's always in times with economic uncertainty or war. Heading into the war with Russia, Biden could easily say, give us your silver. We need it for electronics. Help save the planet. Zero net emissions by the year 2040. Trying to save the planet from global warming and climate change. Give us your silver because silver is what we need to go green. So we could push that angle as well. On top of the war. I mean, you guys think times are crazy now? Do you know why the Hunt brothers bought billions of dollars worth of silver in 1980? Because gold was banned. Just in 1980. You couldn't just go on APMEX and buy gold. Gold was banned in 1980. That wasn't long ago. Imagine a metal being banned right now. Imagine gold being banned right now. You think there's no way that would happen, but it only happened a few decades ago. See, people don't know the history, so they think the markets have always been like this. You've always been able to buy gold and silver. For, when you were, even if you're 60 years old, when you were 30, you were able to buy gold, or 40. But no, that wasn't the case. And that doesn't mean that just because it was before that it can't happen again. We're living in crazy times, so expect crazy things to happen. Anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Let me know what you think about this video. Let me know. If you liked the video, then please like the video. And let me know what you think silver's price will be in the medium and long term and why. If you want to buy some silver, then send an email to info@milesfranklin.com. Let them know Silver Slayer sent you. Their website will be up shortly. I'm going to have Andy Scheckman back on the channel soon. He's out of town on a golf tournament right now. He's a very busy guy. Trust me, we're trying to make our show consistent every Wednesday, but he's a very busy person. He was just in Canada. He does so many, he travels a lot. He's one of the most popular people in the space of the precious metals world. And that's why it's so cool since you can buy from him through Miles Franklin. He's the CEO of Miles Franklin. You start buying through him, build a business relationship with him, and you're friends with the biggest dealer in the world that can access $50 million worth of silver. Like that billionaire that bought $50 million worth of silver, the biggest purchase silver's ever had. Andy Scheckman filled that. She bought from him. She trusted him, right? Because he can fill that. 900,000 eagles, over 100,000 ounces in constitutional silver and gold. He filled that in 2 days. Nobody else could pull that off in the world. I literally don't think anybody else could pull that off. But he has so many connections, and I can offer you a friendship with him. It's like buying silver from your friend compared to just some random site online. I can offer you that. So anyways, yeah, I'm going to wrap this video up here. I'll put the link to this article in the description. Make sure you go enter my massive silver giveaway for a chance to win a sealed tube of eagles. This was Silver Slayer. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.